Welcome back, and this is our 6th video, and we are going to create, we're actually getting all the UVs moved and sewed together, the ones that are separated. We've got a couple more back here. Let's go ahead and go to UV shell and make sure these guys are out of the way, and then we'll go to the next step. Alright, so we've got these guys right here. And let's go ahead and use our little orient shell. And that should orient those shells pretty good. Let's go ahead, and if it doesn't, sometimes it just doesn't work that well. And if you get a tool that sticks, like the W and the E, they get stuck, just click off the object, click back on, and hit the tool. Yeah, it is kind of it's a glitch. Alright, so let's go ahead and orient shell. There we go. What I noticed about this is that if you do rotate it just enough, if it's kind of over one way too much, it'll flatten it out this way. So get it kind of as close as you can, and then orient the shell, and then it should straighten it out. Alright. Again, the glitch is that if you were to rotate and then you wanted to hit the W key, sometimes it doesn't do it, so you have to click off and then click back on and then rotate it, and then it'll work. Alright, so that's kind of one of those little glitches. Alright, so now we're going to double click on this piece right here, go into the edge mode, click on it, and just deselect everything that's around it that you don't need, and then go ahead and continue moving and sewing. Alright, that piece needs to be bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and scale that piece. Just click on it and scale it up. Make sure in UV shell. Okay, just scale that up. There we go. Alright, I think we're pretty good now. All the rest of the pieces, I don't think I see any. Oh, there's couple more pieces right here that need to be, that are sharing a shell. There we go. And move those out of the way. Okay, that's good. And again, we'll go ahead and move and sew those pieces together. Let's go ahead and orient those shells the best we can. There we go. Alright, let's orientate this shell. There we go. And I think these are the edges we need to sew. Go to edge mode. Yep, those are it. And deselect anything else around it. There we go. And go to move and sew. Okay. I think the rest of the pieces are just pieces that are coming off the object, but I don't have to move or sew them. Alright, so these are all the pieces that I've moved and sewed. So let's put these guys in its own little area here. And the rest of these other guys, we just kind of need to rotate in the right direction. That makes a big difference. Okay. And we just start stacking everything. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video while I do that. I'm going to get everything rotated in the right direction. How I do that is I kind of move this over like this, and I think I can put the editor next to the screen, and I can kind of see where I'm at. You can see that if I hit the 4 key, you can see where that particular texture is, or that UVs are. And go back to the 5 key, and just kind of make sure these are all lined up properly. You know where they're at. Okay, and then find out where the rest of the stuff is, the inside and the outside. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to do that for the whole thing. I'm going to pause the video and show you how I line everything up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause. Okay, we're back. The next step is we need to make sure that once everything's laid out, you got these smaller pieces. The biggest pieces are the ones that are really important, the ones that you see the most. The smaller pieces are harder to see. The whole idea is to make sure you know where everything is at. So we have to make sure that these pieces are all set up. And so I'm going to close this a minute really and open up my UV editor again. Looks like I'm missing my UV editor. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, so what we need to do now is find the Texel density of our object. So I'm going to close that down and open back up again so I can get my, there it is, my toolkit. And so Texel density is how much, what the resolution for each piece is going to be, the UVs, and how much space will it take. So this is one of the largest pieces. We've got the back of this piece right here. That would probably be one of the biggest pieces in this piece right here. So let's get those two pieces together. So here's the back piece. Let's put that in the center, and let's put this back in there. And let's take a look at the Texel density of these. That's basically the squares. That looks pretty good for that object. So that guy right there will go off of. See if that'll work. So what you want to do is you want to select the piece that has the correct Texel density. Of course, we can make changes to that. Make sure you open up your transform, this guy right here. Scroll all the way down. While that's selected, click on Get, and that gives us the Texel density of 10.9560. And then what you want to do is you want to select everything in the scene, everything in your UV map, and click on Set. This may take a little bit of time, but then your Texel density will be correct on all of them. Again, this is a complex object, and if you have a complex object, it will take longer. Now you can see the Texel density looks good there. So it basically forced everything to be the right size. Okay. So that looks good, and I don't think anything in here won't fit in here. It's just got to be packed properly. Okay. So the next step is, what pieces do you want where? Okay, that's the next step in the process of, okay, so is this ear muff, this ear piece right here, those pieces, will those pieces go together in one UV? Will these pieces go together in one UV? And will these pieces go together in one UV? So those are questions we have. Okay. So what I suggest that we do is that let's try to get most of these that are going to be together the same texture space, the texture map. Let's say if we want to have this part a different texture than this part, we would probably want to separate those. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. There we go. And so what I'm going to do now is select the pieces that I want separate. Okay, so they're easy to get to. So I want this one and this one and this one. Those pieces will share the same material. This one and this one, and this one will share the same material. So I'm going to move those up and move them together. Okay. And then I'm going to have this share a material. That's going to be like black plastic, and this. And then this material will be the same, and this material will be the same. So those pieces will be the same material. Okay, there we go. And so those pieces will be placed over here. Okay, let's make sure I got everything. This guy right here, and this guy right here. Okay, that looks good. And then I think this will be a good one too. this one, and this one looks like a chord too as well. So we'll be moving those up there. So these will have its own texture space. And then so on and so forth. So I'm going to break these up into materials now. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video and break those up into material. Okay, we're back, and I've got the model completely laid out for UDIMs. Okay, so how do UDIMs work? Well, UDIMs allow you to use texture space more efficiently. So instead of having to pack from 0 to 1 for each single UV pack in gaming, normally that's what we would do, and film the same way. We have to pack within this UV map. Well, that causes us to waste a lot of space, meaning that or we don't have as much resolution. So the idea is to spread out the UDIMs. So basically they're ID based. So the ID is we start with 1001, and then 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, and so on and so forth. And we have 10 across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we start over here. So we go basically from basically over this way, and then we move back over this way. So from left to right, from left to right, from left to right, and we can go all the way up. And we can go up to, I don't know if it's infinite or if it's just 999, but you'll never use that. For this headset, you can see that I'll do X-ray here so you can get kind of an idea where all this stuff is coming from. So you can see. Okay, so go to UV shell and highlight this section. Okay, this section is just this part right here. Those UVs will be a material. Will have a material on them, and then this one right here will have a material on it. Okay, wherever that is, I can't even remember where I put it. Oh, it's right in here. This guy right here inside, and then this guy right here is the pad that's on the inside. That'll have its own material, and then this one right here is on the outside. Will have its own material. And then we've got the parts right through here. These parts right here, I know it's hard to see, but that part will have its own material. And then this part will have its own material. And then this part will have its own material. We're just moving up the line here. And then this part will have its own material. And so on and so forth. Okay? And then we've got the back of the headset. And then we just keep moving on. There's pieces around here somewhere. And then we've got those pieces right there on top, the buttons. And then we got the inside of the pieces here, okay, for the ear pad. And these are miscellaneous stuff that wasn't deleted, that will never be shown. So that's kind of a dead spot. And you might have those. But the idea is, now that you're completely finished with the UV's maps, we can rethink the scale of the texel density, giving it more texel density. So, which means we can have a higher resolution image and textures on here without causing any more issues or having any issues. So I'm going to go back in from shading to X-ray, take that off, and now we're going to work with this a little bit more. So the last thing I'm going to do is find the biggest piece and make it a little bit larger. Okay, let's go back to UV shell and scale that up. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it, and you can see we doubled the size here. And let's go ahead and select these guys and then set. And then I can move these around in here and get the best possible UV map I can get with this. Now, depending on where these are at on the model, you can definitely overlay stuff. meaning that if it's going to have the same texture, you can definitely do that. This is an outside piece right there that probably will never be seen, so I'm definitely going to overlay this over top of this. Okay, and we'll keep this one over here. Okay, we'll do this, and we'll make this one just a little bit smaller so it fits within there. Okay, won't ever notice that. Okay, and so we're using the best possible, optimizing this as much as we can. We've already doubled the resolution already. Let's move that, rotate that a little bit. Here we go, rotate a little bit. It seems off a little bit. I just want to make sure that's perfectly matched. Okay, these are matched up good.